10 attitudes to improve your relationship during crisis. Welcome to Garden of Eden, a platform dedicated to adding value to the lives of couples who desire a fulfilling relationship. You know, folks, relationships are hard work. It takes two people who are willing to put in the effort day in and day out. And even then, there are going to be times when you hit a rough patch. That's just part of life. Many people in a relationship are just spectators, watching their relationship unfold, especially when faced with situations that seem to want to tear it apart, empty it of all meaning, make it murky and deprive it of any fulfillment. They sit back and let things happen to them, instead of taking control and making things happen. But that's not you, is it? You're not content to just sit on the sidelines. You want to be in the game, fighting for your relationship. Have you ever been in a similar situation? Are you experiencing a crisis in your relationship right now? These situations can be incredibly frustrating and depressing, and sometimes they can even lead us to lose all hope of a better life as a couple. But don't you dare get discouraged. Don't you dare throw in the towel, because I'm here to tell you that there is hope. There is a way through this. Let's look together at 10 attitudes that can help you improve these situations and give you the opportunity to experience the best in your relationship. 1. Listen. You can't solve a problem if you don't first acknowledge that there is a problem. And you can't fix something if you don't take responsibility for your part in it. So the first step to strengthening your relationship during a crisis is to identify the situation and take the initiative to become actively involved in finding a solution. Don't you dare sit there and tell me that you're helpless, that you're just a victim of circumstance, that you have no control over what's happening in your relationship, because that's a load of bull. You always have a choice. You can choose to be passive and let the crisis consume you, or you can choose to be proactive and fight for your relationship. It's like a house, you know? If you want it to stay clean, you've got to put in the effort to clean it. But if you let things pile up, if you let the dirt and the dust accumulate, it's going to take a whole lot more work to get it back in order. The same goes for your relationship. The longer you wait to address the problems, the harder it's going to be to fix them. So don't wait. Don't put it off any longer. The time to act is now. 2. Words matter. When you're in the middle of a crisis, it's easy to let your emotions get the best of you. You say things you don't mean, you lash out, you hurt each other, and once those words are out there, you can't take them back. Trust me, I've seen it a million times. But here's the thing, words have power. They can be used to build up or tear down. They can be used to heal or to hurt. So be careful with the quality of your words during this crisis. Think of it this way. When you're in a dark room, what's the first thing you do? You turn on the light, right? Because light dispels darkness. It allows you to see clearly, and that's what positive words can do for your relationship. They can shine a light on the problem and help you to find your way back to each other. So take a deep breath before you speak. Think about what you're about to say and how it's going to be received, and choose your words carefully, because in the middle of a crisis, kind words can make all the difference. 3. Separate activities according to their impact on your life. You see, folks, every problem has a solution, but sometimes those solutions are buried under a whole lot of garbage. All the negative thoughts, the bad habits, the toxic influences in your life, all of that stuff is just getting in the way of you finding the answers you're looking for. So you've got to separate the wheat from the chaff. You've got to identify the things that are helping your relationship and the things that are hurting it. And then you've got to make a conscious effort to eliminate the bad stuff and focus on the good. It's like trying to lose weight. You can't expect to shed those pounds if you're still eating junk food and sitting on the couch all day. You've got to clean up your diet. You've got to get some exercise. You've got to make changes to your lifestyle. The same principle applies to your relationship. You can't expect to fix things if you're still engaging in the same old destructive patterns. You've got to make some changes. You've got to get rid of the toxic influences in your life. You've got to start making healthier choices. 4. Have a plan. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Fixing a relationship takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But that doesn't mean you can't start making progress today. Even small steps in the right direction can make a big difference. That's why it's so important to have an action plan. What are you going to do today to improve your relationship? What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do next week? Don't just sit there and wait for things to magically get better. You've got to be intentional about it. You don't just throw a bunch of wood and nails together and hope for the best. It's like building a house. You've got to have a blueprint. The same goes for your relationship. If you want it to be strong and lasting, you've got to have a plan. 5. Actions speak louder. You know the old saying, actions speak louder than words? Well, it's true. You can talk all day long about how much you love your partner, but if you're not backing up those words with actions, they're meaningless. If you're constantly saying one thing and doing another, your partner's going to start to tune you out. They're going to stop believing you, and that's a dangerous place to be. So if you want to strengthen your relationship, you've got to show your partner that you're serious about making things work. You've got to back up your words with actions. 6. Check your circle. Listen, folks, you are who you surround yourself with. If you're hanging out with a bunch of negative, toxic people, it's going to rub off on you. It's inevitable. The same goes for your relationship. If you're constantly around people who are putting down your relationship, who are being critical and judgmental, it's going to take a toll. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who are supportive, who are encouraging, who believe in your relationship, it's going to make a world of difference. So take a good, hard look at the people in your life. Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they making your relationship stronger or weaker? And don't be afraid to make some changes. If you need to distance yourself from some people, do it. Your relationship is worth it. 7. Get creative. You know, one of the biggest mistakes couples make is letting their relationship get stale. They get into a rut. They do the same things day after day, week after week, year after year, and it's no wonder they start to lose interest in each other. It's like eating the same meal every day for the rest of your life. Eventually, you're going to get sick of it. No matter how much you used to love it, you're going to start to crave something different. The same goes for your relationship. If you want to keep the spark alive, you've got to keep things fresh. You've got to be willing to try new things. You've got to be creative. What can you do to spice things up? What can you do to make your relationship feel new and exciting again? 8. Teamwork makes the dream work. Listen, you and your partner are on the same team. You're in this together. And just like any good team, you need to be able to rely on each other. You need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to be able to work together towards a common goal. So if you're facing a crisis in your relationship, don't try to go it alone. Work together to find a solution. Remember, 2 heads are better than 1. And when you work together, you can accomplish anything. 9. Celebrate the wins. When you're in the middle of a crisis, it's easy to get bogged down in all the negativity. It's easy to focus on all the things that are wrong, but it's important to remember to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they may seem. Did you have a good conversation with your partner today? Did you manage to resolve a conflict without yelling at each other? Did you simply make it through the day without wanting to strangle each other? Those are all victories, folks, and they deserve to be celebrated. So take some time to acknowledge the progress you're making. Give yourselves a pat on the back and keep up the good work. 10. Choose fulfillment. At the end of the day, folks, it all comes down to choice. You can choose to hold on to the anger and resentment, or you can choose to let it go. You can choose to focus on the negative, or you can choose to focus on the positive. The choice is yours. But I'm here to tell you that choosing fulfillment is always the better option. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So choose to fight for your relationship. Choose to work through the tough times. Conclusion: don't get discouraged, try again. Look, relationships are tough, there's no doubt about it, but they're also incredibly rewarding. And if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to fight for it, you can have the relationship of your dreams. So if you're going through a tough time right now, don't give up, don't throw in the towel. There is hope, there is a way through this, and we believe in you. If you like this video, press the like button, share it with a friend who might need to hear this, and subscribe to the channel for more relationship advice.